Vellore, once a thriving place of dynasties and rulers, a pivotal beginning of the Indian independence, a vibrant society with indomitable souls, has turned into ecological hotspots, degrading local ecosystem, shrinking basic natural resources like renewable water, clean air, and increasing land soil degradation, surface and groundwater shortages and contamination, and urban air pollution. In addition to this, Vellore is confronted with constant energy shortages, increase in the local population, and huge influx from neighboring villages in the urban and semi-urban areas, adding more stress on the natural resources. The Pala River is running dry for more than a decade. Daylight sand mining is prevalent. Soil loses its fertility, forest loses its productivity. Rising terrestrial pollution, urbanization is unplanned and rampant. Farmers are abandoning their lands due to rainfall shortages and water scarcity. Public depending on the riverside water is contaminated at alarming levels, leading to hunger, deprivation, and theft of livelihood opportunities. The price of so-called development and industrial and agricultural modernization is paid by the current and future generation. The negative consequences outweigh the benefits it provides. There are far-reaching economic and socio-political implications of mismanagement of natural resources. Poor regulations, lack of monitoring agencies, lack of awareness among the public and government have aggravated the environmental crisis. Environmental decline adversely affects the health, well-being, and livelihood opportunities. Climate change is increasingly threatening the livelihoods of thousands of farmers and other segments of the population because of precipitation and temperature change. The current crisis is nothing but the culmination of our ignorance, arrogance, and insatiable desire to accumulate wealth. Globally, we have crossed our threshold and beyond safe operating limits. What about our local ecosystem? Some of the visible problems that we daily confront is water scarcity and energy shortages. And we live in that illusion that the rest of the ecosystem is functioning well. But when we go deep into our local ecosystem, we realize we are in a great danger, but we don't have the exact or at least an approximate measure of the implications of poor and degrading ecology. Every social and economic transaction is based on the sound health of ecosystem. The risk of ignoring these problems is way too high. Sooner or later, the ecological crisis will be unmanageable. We're already facing the consequences of water scarcity and poor urban environmental conditions. The risk of not investing in protecting natural resources and ecosystem services will be paid by the coming generation with an astronomical cost for health and possibilities of rising violence and conflicts. Maintaining and restoring the health of ecosystem is beneficial for the well-being, peace, and harmony of the community. By considering ecosystem services, cities have the opportunity to make some very positive changes, saving on municipal costs, boosting local economies, enhancing the quality of life, and securing livelihoods. Responding to this crisis requires a thorough understanding and rigorous scientific analysis of the local environment, figuring out the drivers of natural resource degradation and exploitation, functioning and abilities and inabilities of local institutions. In order to build a prosperous future for all the citizens of Vellore, a resilient environment is imperative. How can we build a resilient environment?
Creating a strong and compelling evidence is the basis for awareness and policy change. That's why we at Progressive Vellore, a youth-led think tank and the first of its kind in the Vellore district, envisions carrying out research on three major issues that we are confronting today: water security, urbanization, agriculture, and rural development. With the support of national, international experts, dedicated interns, passionate engineers, scientists, and experts from different disciplines and practitioners. We at Progressive Vellore believe three things are essential for positive environmental change: research, awareness, and advocacy.
Firstly, we need an organization to scientifically assess the condition of local ecosystems and what will be the impact of mismanagement. What are the solutions available within us to make it better? Which ecosystem services are central to the local, regional society and economy? Which stakeholders are more dependent on these ecosystem services? Which ecosystem services are at risk? How do the problems and policies affect them? Secondly, what we lack today is the ability and potency of the scientific community to reach our message to the policymakers and public. So, a strong network of economic, social, and ecological conscious youth has to build a momentum and constantly spread awareness of sound ecosystem through various communication channels and social media. Youth can use the social networking websites like Facebook, Twitter to spread awareness, not only just liking or sharing, but by creating a healthy dialogue with all the stakeholders, creating innovative solutions to the local farmers, industrialists, households, and making the environment part of the daily discourse during the lunch and tea time, appreciating the best practices and shunning the bad one. Thirdly, we have technical and policy solutions, sufficient awareness among the public. What's next? How can we scale up our solutions? How can we bring new or amend old regulations? We have to lobby, an unbiased political and ethical lobbying for policy change. Writing official letters to the district collector, mayor, other community representatives, letters to the editor of the local newspaper, holding public meetings, staging public demonstrations, and criticizing the offenders. We, as youth, are the stewards of our environment. If we don't protect, no one will. Together, we can build a future, a resilient future, where we respect our nature, safeguard it for our current and future generation, and to ensure social and ecological justice.
Let us go beyond liking and following Facebook page. Let us contribute for social and ecological justice for our present and future generations.